In this video, we've taken all of our neighborhood tours that we've made around Lake Oswego and we've assembled them back to back in one place where you can see them all. In each video, we'll highlight things that make that neighborhood unique and special. Things like, what schools does it feed to? Does it have access to boat easements? What's a day in the life in this particular neighborhood like? And other hidden gems and little treasures that many locals don't even know. Let's get into it. We're in the heart of First Addition right now. This neighborhood is completely different than all other neighborhoods in Lake Oswego because it has a very different feel. I think that's because the neighborhood was originally laid out on a grid, and the lot sizes tend to be somewhat smaller, between about 5,000 and 7,000 square feet or so. So you live in closer proximity to your neighbors. And as you drive through the neighborhood here, you can still see a lot of old bungalow style or craftsman style homes. Many of them still have porches. It's pretty idyllic, but you also see the neighborhood changing. Many of those homes have been modernized and remodeled. Some of them have even been removed altogether by luxury home builders who have come in and they've built new luxury homes with basements in many cases to get higher square footage. So the character of the neighborhood is changing. It's a bit like a tapestry of different architectural styles, but the feel overall remains intact. It feels completely unique. It's not unlike some of the closer in city neighborhoods in downtown Portland. If you're familiar with places like Alameda or the Sabin area or Beaumont Wilshire, this area has a bit of that kind of feel in terms of its walkability. People tend to know each other, neighbors tend to interact with each other. It's pretty charming, and it's all anchored by an elementary school that is absolutely beloved. It's called Forest Hills Elementary School. First Addition feeds to two top-rated high schools just minutes away, Lake Oswego Junior High School and the very picturesque Lake Oswego High School. It looks like it's straight out of a movie. Another interesting feature about the neighborhood is many of the homes have garages that are accessed by alleys. The alleys give First Addition a really unique feel. They bisect the blocks. If you've got really little ones, there's also some great preschool options in the neighborhood. My own personal favorite is called the Oswego Play School. This is where our twin boys attended, and the parents get really hands-on because it's a co-op. I think I've actually got some photos somewhere of them dressed up in these ridiculous costumes for Halloween. Check it out. Oh, they're gonna kill me for putting that in this video. There's also a great private school nearby called Our Lady of the Lake. It was completely rebuilt a handful of years ago, and they've got pre-K through 8th grade there, and it's just a beautiful facility. Another jewel of the neighborhood is the Lake Oswego Public Library. It's buzzing with activity 24/7, 365 days a year. They've always got things happening there for family and people of all ages. They've got programs that are oriented toward Children's Story Hour. LO Reads is a popular event that's often been centered out of the library. They do community concerts there and a lot more. Just a few blocks away from the library, there's another great place called the Lake Oswego Adult Community Center. They've got a variety of programs year-round for adults of all ages. They've also got some great resources and support options for seniors. So if that's something that you need in your family, this is just another great thing in the neighborhood. Okay, so hopefully you've got a feel now for First Addition as a neighborhood, but maybe some of you are thinking, okay, Will, but what might a day in the life actually look like if you lived here? Well, say hello to my lovely wife, Jane. She's gonna tell you about that.
When our kids were young and we got them off to school, I wanted to get some exercise. So I'd come over to this access point in this neighborhood. This trail leads to Tryon Creek State Park, where you can run, hike, trail run, or walk your dog. It's amazing. If shopping's on your to-do list, There's some great options right around the corner, like Safeway, like Whole Foods, like Rite Aid Pharmacy. If you want to eat out, there's some great options here. Some of our favorites are Duke's Public House, Tucci Italian Restaurant, Salt and Straw Ice Cream, Bamboo Sushi, Holy Taco, and St. Honore. If you happen to have any business at City Hall, this is our brand new City Hall. It's beautiful. I also happen to know from personal experience, this is where the traffic court is. One of my favorite things to do during the summer is to come down to Millennium Plaza to the farmers market. Check it out. Don't tell my trainer at the gym, but the cinnamon rolls that they sell back in that corner in the tent are to die for.
I'm standing in Free Ponds Park, which sits right in the middle of the Hallinan neighborhood, and we're actually enjoying the best weather of the year so far. Hallelujah. It's important to understand when it comes to neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, this town is actually made up of 24 different neighborhoods, but when I say Hallinan, that actually includes two adjacent neighborhoods called McVeigh South Shore and Glen Morey. Anybody that lives in this area loosely refers to this whole area as Hallinan. Unlike other popular neighborhoods in Lake Oswego like First Addition or Westlake, for example, both of which are almost completely flat, the Hallinan neighborhood is unique because of its topography. There's a huge variety of topography in this area, from flat tree-lined streets with beautiful sidewalks to homes that are built on the side of the mountain up here behind me that in many cases have pretty incredible views. If you're considering moving to Lake Oswego from outside the area, maybe even a cross-town move, this is an area where you can still find a huge variety of opportunities and relative affordability in comparison to some of the other neighborhoods in town. As you drive around this area, you can still see a lot of the original homes that were built here, going back to maybe the late 40s. There's some mid-century homes tucked in on different streets, all the way into the 70s or thereabouts. There's a big variety of architectural styles, and many of these homes now have been fixed up. The lot sizes tend to be somewhere around 5,000 square feet on the small end, up to about 10 or 12,000 square feet. In some cases, you might even find lots that are around a half an acre or so. There's a lot of new construction happening in this area as well. These homes on Laurel Street are some of the most affordable new homes that you'll find anywhere in Lake Oswego. Here's an example of some luxury homes that were built on oversized lots on Cherry Lane some years ago. Pretty spectacular. One of my favorite streets in this area is Chapin Way. It's a beautiful tree-lined street. You get filtered sunlight throughout the day. Many of these homes are on what could only be described as park-like settings. Okay, I know realtors like to say that sort of thing, but sometimes the description actually fits. Okay, here's a fun fact about the Hallinan neighborhood. Ask any kid on a snow day where the best sledding hill is in the area. A lot of them might tell you it's Lee Street right here behind me. The heart and soul of this area is Hallinan Elementary School. My sons attended here, and I have to say, when I left my former career almost 20 years ago to create a more family-centered life in Lake Oswego, one of my goals as a dad was to drive our sons to school and pick them up as often as possible. I tried to do it every day, and I'm telling you, it was like a party every day here with the lineup of parents and school buses. Some of my favorite memories.
Jane Fendon here. I can't forget the first day of school. I got to ride the bus with our boys, and they were dropped off right here, walked in that door, and a little piece of my heart went with them. Like most parents in Lake Oswego, we really wanted to get involved in our local elementary school. So I volunteered on the art literature program, and I also was honored to be on the PTO board, the parent teacher organization board, and I volunteered in the classroom whenever I could. The teachers and the faculty were amazing.
I'm probably a little biased because our boys went to Hallinan Elementary, but the Hallinan Elementary School playground, it's one of the best in town. It actually kind of functions as an extension of everybody's yards in this area because it's so easy to get to. People come here to jog. It's a great place to walk dogs. Local soccer teams practice out here, baseball teams. For many years, I was an assistant coach in the Lake Oswego youth lacrosse program when our boys were playing competitive lacrosse. And I've got to tell you, we practiced out here, rain, shine, or snow.
Our kids played countless hours on this playground. It was wonderful.
One of the things we loved when our kids went to school here was the Hallinan Community Garden. They got to volunteer and learn how to plant organic produce. They had parent volunteers helping them. It was just really fun.
If I go flying off this thing, I am toast. Oh, I can't believe our kids climb to the top of this thing every day. It's terrifying.
Okay, we're back with Jane safely on the ground again.
Yeah, I made it off the hexamet in one piece.
By now, you're probably getting a sense that if you live in this area, Hallinan Elementary School, it's kind of a hub for the community. But we always want to try to give people a sense for what a day in the life in this neighborhood might actually be like. And in all the years that I've been selling real estate around here, one of the questions that comes up a lot is, how do you get out of this area? If you're somebody who has to commute to work to downtown Portland, for example, from where we're sitting right now, you can be to downtown Portland where OHSU is and the city financial center within 15 minutes on a normal day. 15 minutes in the other direction, you can get to Highway 217, and from there it's a straight shot out to Nike and where Intel are. And if you're trying to get to the airport on a really busy day during rush hour, a local tip is you can actually go the other way on Highway 43 through West Lynn to the 205 freeway and go around what I think of as kind of the back way to Portland International Airport. Another thing that's great about this area is how close we are to downtown Lake Oswego. And there's an amazing park there called George Rogers Park, which is just a stone's throw away from where we're sitting right now. I mean, it seems like there's always something going on there. For example, the Lakewood Festival of the Arts is a huge community event that happens every year. It's so much fun. I've noticed over the last few years at the beach in the lower part of George Rogers Park along the Willamette River, it's become a really popular spot for stand-up paddleboarding. I think you can even rent them down there now. If you want to swim in Lake Oswego and you don't live in a waterfront home or have access to the lake through one of the neighborhood boat easements, the Lake Oswego Swim Park is open to all residents. They've got a great enclosed swimming area and lifeguards.
And there's tons of great shopping right in the neighborhood. There's a beautiful New Seasons grocery store that just opened. There's a Mud Bay pet store, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Anytime Fitness that's open 24/7, and a few great pizza joints.
I asked my trainer at Anytime Fitness the other day if those garlic knots they make at Domino's are on the menu for me, and no. Okay, I gotta say, it doesn't get much better than this in the Pacific Northwest as far as the weather is concerned. I'm sitting here today with my lovely wife, Jane Fendon. Hello, honey.
Hello. We are in Green Tree Park in the middle of the Palisades neighborhood. When our kids were young, I was always on the hunt for a fun neighborhood park. They're all over Lake Oswego, but this is one of our favorites.
People who live in Lake Oswego often talk about the town in terms of north side and south side. The Palisades neighborhood is on the south side of Lake Oswego, and geographically, it's actually the largest neighborhood in town with the highest population. But something that's really interesting is it also has the lowest density. So what does that mean? That means it's all single-family residences around here. You won't find any apartments, no townhomes, no condominiums. So the area has a very distinct family feel and kind of a family orientation.
Oh yeah, I just remember so many fun play dates all over this area and actually in Lake Oswego. And I think there's a party going on over there right now.
Somebody's got a bullhorn or something. One of the really unique things about the Palisades is that all of the homes that you find here were built as custom homes. It doesn't have the feeling of a subdivision that was just all rolled out like a carpet and built at the same time and in the same place, by the same builders. There were many different builders that came into this area over the years, and that gives it a really distinct feeling. You can find architectural home styles here that cover just a huge span in time, going back to the 1950s or thereabouts, all the way to today. It's so big. To give you guys a better sense of it, we're going to take you out in the neighborhood now with us and just hit some of the main neighborhood streets that people use to come and go from the Palisades, and I think that'll give you a feel for the area.
Yeah, it's a great area. Come on, let's go check it out.
This is Royce Way. It's one of the main neighborhood streets that leads into the Palisades. One thing you'll notice as you push further up into this area are trees. You live among the trees here. Big, beautiful Douglas fir pine trees are everywhere. They're majestic. Now we're on South Shore Boulevard. This is actually a road that I drive daily to and from the office, and I try to never lose sight of the fact that it's beautiful. It's green 365 days of the year, and when you live in a place like this, it never gets old. We're standing at the bottom of Wall Street on Green Tree Road. Green Tree Road is one of the most picturesque roads in Lake Oswego. It runs right through the Palisades. It's so pretty.
We actually live nearby, and one of my favorite walks is to walk up Green Tree to Wall Street.
Man, Wall Street is steep.
Yeah, come on, Will, let's go.
Wait, what?
Man, I love that hill.
Okay, personally, I prefer to go up Wall Street in a car. We're up on top right now, and the homes that you find up here, they're beautiful luxury homes, custom executive style homes, many of them. And because of the elevation gain from where we were on South Shore to where we are now at the top of Wall Street, you get amazing views up here. Many of these homes have just breathtaking views. Today we can actually see Mount Hood. It's a little bit hazy, but it's that classic, that iconic view of Mount Hood. It's just kind of classic Pacific Northwest.
Here's something really special in the Palisades neighborhood. It's the Green Tree Pool. It's a little family-friendly neighborhood pool. You can bike here, you can walk here. When our kids were little, we walked up here, swam all day, and then they have barbecue, so we could barbecue at night. It's not very expensive, it's membership-based, but it's an absolute jewel of this neighborhood.
I've been selling real estate in Lake Oswego for a long time. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years in conversations with clients, and sometimes even with people who've been in the area for a long time, is that there's a lot of confusion about who gets to use this lake. Technically, Lake Oswego is a private lake. There's no public access. So there's only 4 ways that you can get on this lake. You can get on through one of 2 public swim parks, or you can live in a waterfront home, of course, or through a neighborhood boat easement. Now I'm standing next to the entrance to the Palisades easement. This is a really wonderful thing that is available to people that live in the Palisades neighborhood. If your home falls within the boundaries of this easement and you choose to join it, it is membership based, you can get access to the lake this way. They have a limited number of boat slips and they have some public space down at the docks on the water, and it's just a really special thing. It's part of what makes the lifestyle in the Palisades so appealing. Okay, we're turning up Westview Drive right here. You'll notice as you explore the Palisades, you're often going up or down because of the topography. We're on the side of a mountain here. Definitely doesn't feel like a cookie cutter subdivision. Oh, look at this. We've got some local wildlife on the left and a little further up on the right. I see deer like this in my backyard all the time. Okay, we've made our way through the Palisades up to a street called Palisades Crest Drive, which dead ends into Cooks Butte Park. This is one of 4 neighborhood entrances to Cooks Butte Park, which is about 50 acres of forested area that's got trails that run all through it. You can walk up here, you can walk dogs, you can trail run. There's wildlife all over the place up here. It's amazing.
And one of the reasons why we decided to raise our family here is because it has easy access to nature. This neighborhood you can walk right into the park from here. We love coming up here and hiking the trails and seeing the beautiful views. It's amazing. We're on the other side of Cooks Butte Park now.
This area is called Stevens Meadow. This is an area that was actually donated by a local family so it would stay as green space, and the walking trails that go through here lead up to Cooks Butte Park. They actually connect. Right above us here nearby, there's another beautiful neighborhood that was a Street of Dreams site years ago, and the homes up there are just magnificent, just kind of jaw-dropping luxury homes. Take a look. We've sold homes all over the Palisades for years. Actually, this is one of our favorite homes right here. It used to be owned by a Fortune 500 executive who's a client of ours. If you have little ones that go to elementary school, they would attend either Hallinan Elementary or Westridge Elementary. Both of those schools feed to the recently rebuilt Lake Ridge Junior High, which then feeds to Lake Ridge High School. I spent a lot of years coaching lacrosse out here. So one of the things that we always want to try and convey in these videos is what a day in the life might actually be like if you lived here. In this case, if you lived in the Palisades neighborhood, this whole area around us might become one of your favorite places for many reasons.
Well, right in the background is Lucier Farm. They have community gardens there where you can garden. They have tons of programs for the community there.
And to our right, further back, Azalea Field is one of the best turf fields in town. A lot of soccer teams practice there. I spent many years coaching youth lacrosse out there when our boys were playing competitive lacrosse. And there's one of the best dog parks in town right here, a fenced dog park. It's like a puppy party over there every day.
Actually, this path here is extremely special to our family because our sons learned to ride two-wheel bikes right here on this path.
This is where they got off their training wheels. It was terrifying.
Anyway, and we still take long walks along this pathway. It's a beautiful area to walk.
One of my favorite things about Lake Oswego is the city is committed to public art, and they have sculptures that are installed all over town. This one actually was a People's Choice Award winner in 2014. It's actually one of my favorite sculptures. It's a very good boy. In our neighborhood video about First Addition, we covered the Lake Oswego Library pretty extensively. It's a fantastic library, and I love the fact that as you drive around town, you can see book drops like this. We're nowhere near the library, but it's a constant reminder that this town is committed to things that I think are important, like reading and public art. I love it. There are so many things that we want to share with you about the Palisades neighborhood. We almost can't fit them all into one video. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. I'm standing in front of what used to be the Lake Oswego Municipal Golf Course, kind of a pitch and putt 18-hole golf course, but it's currently being redesigned as a 9-hole course with a new driving range so that the rest of that land can be used for a new city aquatics recreation center. This is going to be wildly popular when this opens because there's not enough pool time in this town to serve both of the high schools and the needs of the community, all the other people that want access to a large public swimming pool. So the whole community is excited about this, slated to open in 2024. You know, when I got into real estate full-time as a second career almost 20 years ago, I fell in love immediately with the client relationships that we have with our clients. Often, I get to work with entire families. And today we've been showing you highlights of the Palisades neighborhood, hopefully giving you a sense for some of the different types of homes that you can find here and other highlights in the neighborhood. This is something else we want to make you aware of for families that have older parents that have different care needs. This is called the Stafford. It's a boutique retirement living facility that offers what they call upscale senior living. They have all kinds of programs for seniors. It's a beautiful facility, and people can move all the way through this facility from being very active to dedicated apartments for assisted living when that becomes a need. So this blesses a lot of families, and it's just situated beautifully here, right in the neighborhood.
This is Oswego Hills Winery. It's close to the Palisades neighborhood and actually really close to Lucier Farms. It's open on the weekends for wine tasting and gatherings on the lawn, and we've had some really fun birthday parties here. It's great.
Okay, I'm joined now by my wife, Jane. We're at Westridge Park. We're right in the heart of the Westridge neighborhood, which is on the south side of Lake Oswego. Now, if you're somebody who's still familiarizing yourself with the neighborhoods of Lake Oswego, it can get a little confusing sometimes because there's 24 of them, and some of them sound pretty similar to one another. For example, the Westlake neighborhood is nowhere near where we are right now. That's on the north side of town, much closer to I-5 and the 217 freeway. But Westridge is on the south side of town, up here in the mountains. We're right next to the biggest neighborhood in the whole area, which is called the Palisades.
We did a video on the Palisades neighborhood. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And it's a gorgeous day. This is one of the many beautiful little neighborhood parks that are all over Lake Oswego.
Yeah, they're all over town. And so are these quirky little lending libraries like this. I love those. But right now, let's go. We're excited to introduce you to the Westridge neighborhood. After you leave Westridge Park, if you wander deep enough into the neighborhood, you can easily find one of our favorite streets. This is Rivendell Road. Now you can tell this is an older, well-established neighborhood just based on the sidewalks and the mature trees. Everything's grown up and full. Look at the old lantern on the right. We love those old streetlights. They're all over Lake Oswego. The homes back here, they are traditional, but they're beautiful. Many of them have been completely renovated inside, and they're all on oversized lots. Big lots is the norm for most homes in Westridge. And a lot of the streets up here, they end in cul-de-sacs. So the cul-de-sacs create a feeling of privacy, great for walking. There's almost no traffic. That's one of our favorite homes. The public elementary school in the neighborhood is Westridge Elementary. I spent a lot of time coaching youth lacrosse on that sports field right there. And this is the newly rebuilt Lake Ridge Junior High. It's one of the nicest junior high schools you'll ever see. And this is Lake Ridge High School. Our twin boys attended high school here. They had a great time. They were on the lacrosse team, spent a lot of time on that field right there. They played water polo. They were on the golf team, and they spent a lot of time in band playing drums and freezing their butts off in that grandstand during high school football games.
One of the things that we've always loved about living in Lake Oswego is that you're just surrounded by nature. There's trees, it's all green, there's neighborhood parks and the lake. There's just beauty everywhere. You never get tired of it.
Yeah, it just seems like you can walk out your front door and go in almost any direction and hit something amazing. For example, right now we're standing at one of 4 trailheads that lead up to a place called Cooks Butte Park. There's over 50 acres of hiking and walking trails up there. You can day hike, you can walk dogs on leash, you can trail run. It's totally quiet. You'd never know that we're in the middle of the city here, close to freeways and shopping, and it feels like we're in the wilderness. It's amazing. Okay, by now we hope that you're getting a pretty good feeling for what the Westridge neighborhood is like, but in our neighborhood videos, we also always like to try and convey what might a day in the life actually be like if you lived here. You know, where are some of those places that you might go regularly? What are some of the activities that you might do? And for families in Westridge with school-aged kids, the Lake Grove Swim Park, which you see behind us here, is a very popular place for a lot of people.
Yeah, this swim park is absolutely magic in the summer, and all students in Lake Oswego can come here. They can go swimming, they can play badminton and basketball. There's a little kiddie pool and a playground for little ones, and huge family picnics and parties here throughout the whole summer. When our kids were little, they took swim lessons in the lake, and it was great. But when they went off that diving board for the first time, I was holding my breath.
I have a lot of great memories too of 4th of July celebrations here. Lake Oswego goes all out. They go big on 4th of July fireworks.
The fireworks are amazing.
This is a great spot to spread out a blanket. If you set it up at 10 in the morning, you get a spot and watch fireworks. 4th of July, it's pretty magical.
It's great.
Okay, now we want to show you a couple of places that are so deep in the neighborhood, if you don't live in Lake Oswego, you might not even know they exist. For example, this is the Pine Shed Barbecue Shack. They make absolutely killer chicken and ribs here. If you've never been, it's definitely worth checking out. Here's another local secret. This is Two Sweet Cakes. Phenomenal bakery. If you're on a keto diet, steer clear. This is Aji Chom. They call it Asian fusion. Okay, I'm standing in front of another local favorite, Zupan's Market. Started in 1975 in Portland. They opened one of their flagship stores in Lake Oswego a few years back, and it's one of the most beautiful grocery stores that you'll ever see. If you're familiar with Dean and DeLuca in New York City, that might be a good reference point to compare this to if you're not familiar with Zupan's. In the center where I'm standing here, there also are a couple of very popular local restaurants. Jefe is kind of evolved Mexican. They have one of the most popular happy hours in town on Thursday nights. Cafe La Provence, great Sunday brunch spot. In fact, there are so many great restaurants on Boone's Ferry here where I'm standing, and also not too far away on Cruise Way. We almost can't fit them all into this video unless we really hustle, so check it out. Okay, we've jumped from our broadcast studio to the heart of the Lake Grove neighborhood, which is on the south side of Lake Oswego. We're joined by my wife, Jane, again. Hello, honey. And there's actually no better place to kick off a neighborhood tour about the Lake Grove neighborhood than where we're sitting right now, because we're smack in the middle of Iron Mountain Park.
Yes, Iron Mountain Park is one of the newer parks in Lake Oswego, and it's in the Lake Grove neighborhood. This has over 50 acres of green space, of trails. People walk, people picnic, walk your dog, take your kids out to play, and they have bathrooms here too.
The Lake Oswego City Parks actually have some of the most deluxe public restrooms you'll ever find anywhere. But more importantly, this is another example of one of those 50-plus acre parks that you can find all over Lake Oswego. If you're just acquainting yourself with Lake Oswego neighborhoods for the first time, one way to discover the Lake Grove neighborhood is to take Lower Boone's Ferry Road to Bryant Road, take Bryant to Upper Drive, and go north on Upper Drive and drive the length of Upper Drive. It'll take you right through the heart of the Lake Grove neighborhood and give you a really good feeling for this area. Another interesting feature about the Lake Grove neighborhood is many of these luxury homes that you see along here above this ridge are located so far back on the south side of Upper Drive that you wouldn't even know they're here, and yet they're on huge lots with big backyards and territorial views out across Lake Oswego, and in some cases all the way to Mount Hood. In fact, everywhere you look in Lake Grove, you tend to find homes on very large lots, a half acre to 1 acre, sometimes even larger, not uncommon. In addition to all the great hiking and walking paths that you can find throughout Lake Oswego's many public parks, there actually are a lot of wonderful hidden walking paths all over Lake Oswego's neighborhoods if you know where to look.
So we're in the Lake Grove neighborhood. This is one of those hidden paths that goes from Upper Drive down to the Lake Grove Swim Park.
And the Lake Grove Swim Park is a beloved place in Lake Oswego because they've got this great enclosed swimming area there. They've got a huge lawn where people set up chairs at the 4th of July to watch fireworks over the lake. They've got this old snack shack that looks like you've time traveled back to a different era. It's just a really cool thing in the community.
We love that swim park. It's where our twin boys learn to swim.
as you explore the Lake Grove neighborhood and you drive up and down streets like Upper Drive or Douglas Circle or Lake Grove Avenue, you can still see a wide variety of home styles here from different eras, including original craftsman homes, or there's still some old bungalow style homes around. There's still a lot of single level ranchers that were built in the 60s or the 70s, but the thing that's happening all over Lake Grove, in fact, probably the most obvious thing that's happening in this neighborhood, is a lot of the old homes are being removed. And this has been going on for years. Premier local home builders have been coming into the Lake Grove area and buying up the old homes whenever they can get them for the right price and removing them so that they can build larger luxury homes. In fact, this house behind me that's under construction was owned by a private party that sold it off market to a local builder called Renaissance Homes. And we found this property, never went on the market. We wound up facilitating the sale, and now you can see they're building a beautiful luxury home here that will be on the market probably in the next 6 months or thereabouts. This is happening all over Lake Grove. Everywhere you go, you see signs from all the premier local builders. You see lots all over where older homes have been removed. The whole area is transforming. And I've watched this going on for years. The whole character of Lake Grove has changed because of the amount of new construction that's happening here. And part of the reason for that is it's a fantastic location because of its proximity to the freeways. You can hop on I-5 easily from here. You can get on the 217. It's easy to commute to downtown Portland, easy to get out to Nike or Intel on the 217, and it's a relatively easy drive to come home to this area. So Lake Grove has just gotten increasingly more popular over the years, and it's not stopping. It's ongoing. Whether you live in the Lake Grove neighborhood or anywhere in Lake Oswego, everything the Pacific Northwest has to offer is within reach. This is Cannon Beach, and it's a relatively easy drive from Lake Oswego. Oregon's famous vineyards are everywhere you look throughout the Willamette Valley. This world-class vineyard is right in the neighborhood. Take I-84 East out to the Columbia River Gorge, and it'll take you straight to Multnomah Falls. That's a great stop on your way to the Mount Hood Recreation Area, which is a 4-season playground with ski areas, hiking trails, and lots of other things to do. So in all of our neighborhood tour videos, we always like to take a minute to try and convey what a day in the life might actually be like if you lived in the neighborhood, in this case, in the Lake Grove neighborhood. And a fun fact about the Lake Grove area is that many of the homes in this neighborhood have access to boat easements on Lake Oswego. I've been selling real estate for almost 20 years in this town. I've learned a lot about the boat easements over the years. I've had lots of conversations with our clients, and the 3 boat easements that I typically see associated with homes in the Lake Grove neighborhood are the Gooden easement, Springbrook, and Summit Court. Now, we made a whole video about boat easements on the lake. If you want to understand how the easements work and see every one of them, we covered them all in that video. You can find it elsewhere on the channel, but it's a really fun thing about Lake Grove. I mean, you can have the lake lifestyle and live in a large home with a big yard, maybe even a brand new home, and kind of the best of both worlds.
And if you have kids in the Lake Grove neighborhood, the kids will either go to Lake Grove Elementary School, they'll go to Lake Oswego Junior High, and then Lake Oswego High School for public schools.
There's also a lot of great private schools in the area, too many to mention by name right now, but if you'd like a list of that information, we have a lot of information and resources about private schools as well. Feel free to reach out to me at the number on the screen, and we'd be happy to provide that or any other information about the boat easements, for example, if that would be of interest as well.
So, and Lower Boones Ferry has excellent shopping and restaurants. We love Zupans, we love Hefe, we love Baba Cahen. There are just a ton of great places there.
The whole Lower Boones Ferry corridor has been redeveloped in recent years, and there's just great restaurants and shopping, and onto Cruiseway as well. Cruiseway Village, that whole area has been completely redeveloped and transformed as well. So Lake Grove is just a great neighborhood to live. Okay, super excited to introduce you to the Uplands neighborhood today. And look who's here. it's my wife, Jane.
Here
We
I am.
just ran into her wandering aimlessly through the neighborhood.
Taking a little walk.
All right, so one of the first things to know about the Uplands neighborhood is we're on the north side of Lake Oswego. And in comparison to other areas like the First Addition neighborhood, for example, where all the streets were laid out on a grid, all the streets in the Uplands neighborhood were laid out intentionally to just kind of meander around, very windy, charming, narrow streets up here, tree-lined, lots of heavy bushes and shrubbery that create a feeling of privacy. It's kind of idyllic up here. You know, in selling real estate over the years, all over Lake Oswego, I've come to recognize that this area has a very peaceful and just kind of quiet vibe about it that some people are really drawn to.
Yes, it's prestigious, but it's also magical. Look at this. Right in the middle of this neighborhood is this private winery. This is called Monteferro, and every Saturday they do a wine tasting up on the deck, and the deck overlooks the whole lake. It's absolutely beautiful. And Monteferro, the name Monteferro in Italian means Iron Mountain. This is like a little slice of Italy right in the middle of this neighborhood.
My skills when it comes to landscaping end with like taking care of a lawn and maybe a couple of potted plants. Can you imagine if I was in charge of a vineyard like this? We would never get any wine at all. But you know, it's hard in a video when we talk about like how an area feels. It's hard to convey that on camera, but when you look at some of the older buildings around here, like the Lake Oswego Hunt Club, for example, or even the Lake Oswego Country Club, which has been modernized over the years. But if you look at those places, you can still get a feeling for what it must have been like 40 or 50 years ago. I mean, I've talked to old timers, you know, that are still around, and this whole area has such a unique feeling. I mean, it's just kind of idyllic.
And when were many of these original homes built?
Well, there aren't that many of them left anymore, but between the 1940s, maybe into the late 1970s, that's when all the original homes were built here. You know, you had a mix of architectural styles, mid-century modern ranch-style homes, bungalows, you know, cottages, things like that. You still can find some of those around here, but they are slowly disappearing. All the homes in this area are on really large lots. I mean, the typical lot size here is 10 to 15,000 square feet. Sometimes you'll even find larger than that, half acre or thereabouts. But what's happening is that Uplands has become so desirable because of the lifestyle that builders have been coming in and they're buying up the old houses when they can get them for the right price.
Yeah.
And they're either completely modernizing them or they're removing them and building spec homes, or in some cases, we've sold homes where the new owner, you know, built their dream home. So it's not always just a builder that's building a spec home, but there's a lot of that happening when you look around the neighborhood, and the homes that are being built new, you know, they're all multi-million-dollar homes. So it's an extremely desirable and prestigious address to live in the Uplands neighborhood.
And many of the homes have access to the lake through the easements, and there are 2 swim parks that they have access to too, so people can get on the lake.
Yeah, the public swim parks are available to anyone who lives in Lake Oswego. They each have some rules that you need to understand, but the other easements that you mentioned, the boat easements, to use a boat easement on Lake Oswego, your home has to be within the right boundaries for one of the easements. We did a whole video on this, which you can go and check out if you don't know how the boat easements work. But many of the homes in this neighborhood actually fall within the boundaries of boat easements. So it's pretty amazing. You can live up here and have this kind of quiet and idyllic setting, and yet you can also have the lakefront lifestyle. You can get on the lake. If you get on a waiting list and your number comes up, you can even get a boat slip. I mean, it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
If you want to see for yourself what we mean when we say that the Uplands neighborhood in Lake Oswego has a really unique and charming feel about it, you might want to just take a driving tour through the neighborhood. There aren't any more than 500 homes in Uplands, so it won't take too long. But one way to do that is take Country Club Road to Wembley Park Road and find your way into some of the inner neighborhood streets like Crest Drive, Prestwick, Glen Eagles Road, or The street where I'm standing here, this is called Ridgecrest Drive. I've been selling real estate for almost 20 years here, and the first time I walked into a home on Ridgecrest Drive, I was shocked by the views that you find on this street and a few of the others that I mentioned, like Crest and like Prestwick. It's absolutely jaw-dropping. Here, we're gonna show you a little bit of that right now. Okay, did you spot your dream home anywhere on that ridge? Did you also notice how far apart most of the homes are spaced? Remember, that's because the homes in Uplands are on large lots, 10 to 15,000 square feet minimum, sometimes larger. It creates a feeling of privacy where it doesn't feel like your neighbors are right on top of you on either side, and yet you've got these magnificent territorial views in all directions. You know what? I never even used to say things like territorial views before I became a realtor, but it's been part of my vocabulary now for almost 20 years. Another interesting thing about Ridgecrest Drive, where we're standing here, is on the other side of the street, you've got the Lake Oswego Country Club running along here. So you've got cliffs and country club side by side that creates a really unique lifestyle, and yet we're close to everything. Downtown Portland isn't far away, easy to get to places like OHSU or Adidas, or is it Adidas? I'm never sure. Easy to get to Nike, easy to get to Intel, and the other employers in the area that make up what's called the Silicon Forest. And yet it feels like we're a world away standing right here. Uplands is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Lake Oswego. Kids from the Uplands neighborhood go to Forest Hills Elementary School. After that, Lake Oswego Junior High. And then they move on to Lake Oswego High School. If you happen to be one of the 15 subscribers to our massively popular YouTube channel, then by now you would know that in our neighborhood tours, we always try and give you a sense for what a day in the life might actually be like if you lived in the neighborhood, in this case, the Uplands neighborhood. Now, where we're standing here in Iron Mountain Park, technically, this is not in the Uplands neighborhood, but there are trails that come down through the woods behind us from Uplands to here that actually make this park feel like it is part of the neighborhood. So we wanted to show it to you.
This park was opened about 2 years ago, and there was extensive city planning to build and develop this park. There are over 51 acres of green space with all these hiking trails, so you can hike and bike and trail run or walk your dog. And this park is great for families too.
I think it's amazing when you think about on the other side of town at the top of the Palisades neighborhood, which we covered in another video, Cooks Butte Park has over 50 acres of dedicated green space for the same thing, and lots of trails up there that people enjoy in a lot of different ways. And we've got the same thing here on the other side of town. And these are not the only parks in Lake Oswego. They're just two of many parks that's completely reflective of how committed this town is to providing and maintaining wonderful green spaces for recreation. Okay, now we're standing at one of the entrances to Springbrook Park. This is the park that's actually squarely within the boundaries of the Uplands neighborhood. It's another 50-acre park right in the middle of town.
One of the best things about living in Lake Oswego is there's so much to do close by. You've got the Oregon coast, you've got the wine country, you've got Mount Hood and the Columbia River Gorge. But when you've got little kids, these neighborhood parks are a godsend because sometimes you got to get those kids outside close by to run. Or maybe you need to run alone without children.
Sometimes parents just need to escape into the woods. You know, an amazing thing you wouldn't know standing right here also is that on the other side of this park, just right behind us, Lower Boones Ferry Road runs along, and it was just recently redeveloped. There was a massive redevelopment of the Boones Ferry corridor. It's beautiful, and now it's tied together better with the other side of town. Yeah. You know, the medians in the middle of the street lights, the hanging flower baskets. It's just made the whole town of Lake Oswego feel much more cohesive and unified. And it also happens to be where some of our favorite markets and restaurants are, places like Zupan's, New Seasons Market, Café La Provence, Babacahin, Hefe. There's a brand new Elephant's Deli that opened recently. One of our favorite pasta places, our twin boys are foodies. There's a place called Graza that they love. So there are lots of places to shop and eat and find just about anything you'd ever need, literally right around the corner from the Uplands neighborhood. Okay, I'm very excited about this neighborhood video today. We are in the heart of the North Shore Country Club neighborhood, and we are joined again by my lovely wife and partner in crime, Jane.
Look at this beautiful day. You know, we've lived in Lake Oswego and raised a family here for almost 20 years. And before that, I lived in Chicago, in New York City, in Los Angeles, and I've traveled all over the world. But weather like this, it just doesn't get much better than this.
It's tough to beat. So to help orient you to this neighborhood, we're gonna launch the drone to give you a bird's eye view of where the North Shore Country Club neighborhood is and why it's such a special place to live. It's one of the best neighborhoods in Lake Oswego. Check it out. Okay, we are in the air now looking straight down at the North Shore Country Club neighborhood. It's all about location, location, location. Look at these beautiful luxury homes along the north side of Lake Oswego. Now, we're going to show you every facet of this neighborhood throughout this video, but while we're at this altitude, it's important to understand one of the things that makes this neighborhood so unique is that it's sandwiched in between Lake Oswego and the Oswego Lake Country Club, which you see here. You can live where you play.
I'm walking down Chandler Road right now. It's such a pretty street. Ask anybody who lives here what they love about this neighborhood. And one of the things they'll probably tell you is that it's a great walking neighborhood. It's gorgeous. I'm a walker and I love it. And now I'm walking along another beautiful neighborhood street called Fairway Road. It runs parallel to the 18th hole at the Oswego Lake Country Club. And across the street are some spectacular homes that face the club.
Now, there aren't that many homes on Fairway Road, but the homes that you see here are truly estate caliber homes. Each one of them is completely custom, totally unique. Okay, I happen to come from a golfing family. At one time when I was a little kid, my father tried out for the PGA Tour. He didn't make it, but golf was like religion in our household growing up. So if you're a golfer, you might be interested to know that the Oswego Lake Country Club is a very hilly course. It's got 5 sets of tees and a USGA rating of 69.4 to 72.9. The slope rating is 128 to 135. This course is tough. The clubhouse itself is so beautiful, it was actually designated as a historical site by the city of Lake Oswego. And this is the Oswego Heritage House, located in the North Shore Country Club neighborhood. Its mission is to preserve and promote the history of Lake Oswego. And speaking of history, for many years, our real estate company was one of the anchor sponsors for the historical home tours that the Oswego Heritage House sponsors every year as a way to give the public access to significant homes that they help to preserve and celebrate, like this one behind me. This is just a great example of a historical home. Many of them in town were designed by prominent architects. Richard Sunderleaf is a name that comes up a lot, and many others. We've loved our association with the Oswego Heritage House over the years. If you're someone who enjoys driving around aimlessly and looking at beautiful homes, like we do, the North Shore Country Club neighborhood is a great driving neighborhood. This stately home is located on Iron Mountain Boulevard. Notice how some of these homes have been renovated extensively. Turning up Chandler Road here, this isn't far from where you saw Jane walking earlier in this video. Now, some of these homes are brand new in the recent past, but they were built to fit in perfectly alongside older traditional homes like these that are classic and beautiful. In just a second, we're going to go past a couple of my favorite homes anywhere in Lake Oswego, right here. And here's another example of a true estate caliber home. This is a street called Lake Garden Court, One of the most unique things about it is many of these homes back up to the Oswego Lake Country Club. Most of the homes in the North Shore Country Club neighborhood are on large lots that average anywhere from about a quarter of an acre to an acre or slightly larger.
And now I've made my way over to one of the most prestigious streets in Lake Oswego. It's called North Shore Road. Whew, these hills are killing me.
The reason North Shore Road is one of the most prestigious streets in Lake Oswego is because it's lined by some of the most spectacular waterfront homes on the main lake. Now, in selling real estate here for almost 20 years, the feedback that I've often heard from our clients who live on this side of the lake is that they love the southern exposure that the homes on this side of the lake get because you tend to get a lot of sun throughout the day. Architecturally, every home on the lake is unique. You'll never find two that are exactly alike, and most of them have custom boathouses and or private decks that work great as swimming platforms, or it's easy to launch a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard. So it's all about the waterfront lifestyle. And yet, when you look down North Shore Road, you'd never know that you're actually not far out in the woods somewhere because it's so tree-lined and private. It's hard to believe that all the amenities you'd ever need are just a stone's throw away in downtown Lake Oswego. Within walking distance, you can find great restaurants, great shopping options. Millennium Plaza is like the hub of the town. The farmers market that happens there in the spring and the summer is one of the best farmers markets anywhere in the Portland metro area. It's also a hub for lots of community events that begin and end there. It's just a terrific lifestyle overall. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation with me about it, I'd love to talk. I'm easy to reach. Feel free to call me at the number you see below on your screen. We help a lot of people buy and sell homes in this town, and every client situation is different. Over the years, I've worked with many people that relocate to this area from out of town or out of state, but increasingly, we also work with many clients who are making crosstown moves for a whole variety of reasons. Some are wanting to get onto the lake for the first time. Others are downsizing. Perhaps it's somebody moving from downtown Portland out to Lake Oswego or vice versa. So I enjoy all the different clients I get to interact with and all of the different requirements that come into play when you're buying or selling real estate. And I'd love to talk anytime. So please feel free to reach out to me. Right behind where I'm standing, North Shore Road turns into Diamond Head Road, and that takes you out to Diamond Head Point where these homes are. Some of them have magnificent views of Lake Oswego. For homes in the North Shore Country Club neighborhood that are not on the lake, many of them have access privileges to this boat easement. This is called the Forest Hills easement. We actually made a whole video about how boat easements work on Lake Oswego, and you can see every one of them if you go to that video elsewhere on the channel. Homes in the North Shore Country Club neighborhood feed to some of the best public schools in the state. This is Forest Hills Elementary School. It feeds to Lake Oswego Junior High School, which then feeds to the very prestigious and picturesque Lake Oswego High School. Okay, we've got a little surprise for you here. We're headed down Iron Mountain Boulevard. We're going to take you somewhere just outside of the boundaries of the North Shore Country Club neighborhood. This is Iron Mountain Park. This was a brand new city park that was built a handful of years ago. It's become a very popular place for people that live in Lake Oswego. There's over 50 acres here of dedicated green space and some great walking trails. From the North Shore Country Club neighborhood, it's also pretty easy to get to major freeways like I-5 or Highway 217. They'll take you straight out to the big employers in the area like Nike, Intel, or OHSU. Check out this tram at OHSU. This was a really creative solution to an urban parking problem. And when you look at this beautiful shot of downtown Portland, it's hard to believe that on a normal day, this is only 10 to 15 minutes away from the North Shore Country Club neighborhood. Take Highway 26 west from downtown Portland, and in just over an hour, you can be here. This is Cannon Beach. It's one of our favorite places to go for family day trips with our twin boys. Take I-84 east from downtown Portland, and in about 45 minutes, you'll be smack in the middle of the Columbia River Gorge. Make sure you stop at Multnomah Falls. It's visited annually by 2 million people. The Mount Hood Recreation Area isn't too far beyond that. It's a great place for hiking, biking, skiing, and a lot more. And anywhere you go in the Willamette Valley, it seems like you're never far from a world-class vineyard like this. This is where Oregon's famous Pinot Noir comes from. Okay, before we go any further, I want to mention that we made another neighborhood tour video about the North Shore Country Club neighborhood, which is literally right next door to where we're standing here. If you haven't seen it, you can find that elsewhere on our channel. Evergreen and North Shore Country Club are so close together, they almost feel like the same neighborhood, but there are some key differences.
The Evergreen neighborhood is also a great walking neighborhood. I love to walk, so I want to share with you some of my favorite streets in this neighborhood. I'm walking on Evergreen Road. This is one of the main streets that goes through this neighborhood, and it's beautiful. Oh, here's a really fun fact. This is actually where the finish line is for the Lake Run. This is an annual event that Lake Oswego does in May, where you can either walk or run, and it's really fun. I finished, and that was so much fun. Yay! Evergreen Road ends here in the heart of Lake Oswego. This is called Millennium Plaza. This is where farmers market is, summer concerts, movies in the park, and countless other events. It's awesome. And now I've made my way over to Berwick Road. This is one of the most beautiful streets in this neighborhood. If you're an avid walker like me, you might want to try and walk down Berwick Road to Iron Mountain Boulevard, over to Atwater, which is right outside of this neighborhood, and there's an entrance to Tryon Creek State Park there, where there are a ton of great hiking trails. This is another great place to walk, Cabana Lane, and these darling homes are right on the lake.
So let's talk about what types of homes can you find in the Evergreen neighborhood. As a longtime realtor in Lake Oswego, I get this question a lot. Where Jane was walking, for example, on Cabana Lane, all of those homes front to Lakewood Bay. Now, I've often heard people refer to those homes as floating homes, but they're not. They're actually on foundations, fixed girders and pylons of some sort. You can see that when they drain the lake periodically for maintenance. But elsewhere in the neighborhood, as you look around, you can see the history of the town reflected in the architecture of the homes, dating all the way back to the inception of this town. There are still beautiful historical homes that have remained for nearly 100 years, but you've also got a lot of other home styles. Many of them now have been remodeled extensively, where builders can find homes and they can tear them down and build new homes. Increasingly, there has been infill building happening in the Evergreen neighborhood, and you've still got a handful of grand estate caliber homes that have a kind of period elegance about them. So it's an incredible variety of architecture. If you'd ever like to know more about that, please feel free to reach out to me at the number on the screen below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it and provide any information that I can if that's of interest. So here's an example of what I'm talking about when it comes to new construction. I'm standing in front of a site here on Ellis Avenue where a builder has gotten a lot here. They've removed an older home. I suspect they're either building a custom home for a client that they probably had who was scouring the area trying to find a site, or if they're building a spec home, the price for this spec home when it's complete will be very high because the cost of acquisition is so high. There aren't many lots around Lake Oswego, so there's incredible competition for good ones. I see this happening all over town now, even in the older, most established neighborhoods. When builders can get homes for the right price and remove them, they're building big, beautiful new homes because there is such a strong demand for new construction. In comparison to some of the other neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, the Evergreen neighborhood has a bit more variety of housing types. These apartments, for example, are located at the corner of 3rd Street and Evergreen Road. These are the Windward apartments. They're much newer. Oswego Village townhomes have their own unique charm and elegance. And these townhomes are in a very safe location right across the street from the new City Hall and police station. When it comes to lot sizes in the Evergreen neighborhood, they vary from about 7,000 square feet to 15,000 square feet. Now, you might find a few exceptions for larger estate-style homes, but typically 7 to 15,000 square feet is the average. Okay, we are reunited once again. So in all of our neighborhood tour videos, we always like to take a moment to try and convey what a day in the life might be like if you actually lived in this neighborhood. So in this case, the Evergreen neighborhood. Now, Jane has made it abundantly clear, this is an incredible walking neighborhood,
Yes.
just like North Shore and Country Club right next door. In fact, this is still a place where families can actually walk to school. Some families walk their kids to the local elementary school here, which is called Forest Hills. Forest Hills feeds to Lake Oswego Junior High School, which then feeds to Lake Oswego High School.
Those are all public school options, but there's another option, a private school option, which is Our Lady of the Lake, which is kindergarten through 8th grade. Another great school that you can walk to.
And, you know, even though many of these homes are nowhere near the lake standing here, the ones that are not on the waterfront, in many cases, actually have deeded access privileges to a boat easement called the Lakewood Bay Community Club. It's an incredible place to get on the water. They've got boat slips there, great decks for picnicking and swimming. They've got a diving board. It's actually one of the cooler boat easements on the lake.
And you can find just about anything you need in downtown Lake Oswego. Great restaurants, Tucci, Five Spice Seafood, Holy Taco, Domaine Serene, St. Honore, Chucky Pizza.
It's a new tap house that just opened up that looks really cool. And there's good shopping. There's a great Safeway. There's a great Rite Aid, Whole Foods, and not too far away, there's a New Seasons Market that opened up recently that's pretty amazing.
And don't forget about the best ice cream at Salt and Straw.
I've never been there. I think we know that's a lie. But for people who commute to work, it's also relatively easy to get anywhere you might need to get to from the Evergreen neighborhood. Easy to get to I-5 and the 217 to go out to places like Nike and Intel or other companies that make up what's called the Silicon Forest between Beaverton and Hillsborough. Going the other way from Lake Oswego, State Street, when you're heading toward downtown Portland, turns into Macadam Boulevard. That's a pretty straight shot to get to places like OHSU or downtown Portland. Easy to hop on. I-84 East takes you right out to the Portland International Airport. So the Evergreen neighborhood is just a great place to live. And yet, everything the Pacific Northwest has to offer is within reach. This is one of our favorite places for a family day trip, Cannon Beach. The Oregon wine country is world-renowned for its Pinot Noir, and there are vineyards everywhere. Take I-84 East from downtown Portland straight into the Columbia River Gorge and the Mount Hood Recreation Area beyond that.
If you're unfamiliar with this area, the Westlake neighborhood is located on the northwest side of Lake Oswego. We're just north of Cruz Way, and I'm standing in the heart of the neighborhood in Westlake Park.
If you go back in history to a time when the Oregon Iron and Steel Company owned large tracts of land all over Lake Oswego, the Westlake area was eventually developed for housing. And when you look around at some of the street names around here, you see local names of the developers and prominent people that were involved in that process way back when. But right now, we're gonna jump from here and show you some of the prime streets that define Westlake. Let's go. Okay, we've jumped to one of my favorite streets in Westlake. This is a quintessential Westlake street, Denton Drive, which you can see behind us. In selling real estate in Lake Oswego for almost 20 years, we've sold homes all over this area. I've always loved this street because as you look up and down Denton Drive, you can see all these homes were built in the 1980s into the early 90s for the most part. There's a really nice diversity of architecture. They're all beautifully maintained. It's quiet, the streets are tree lined. It's just a lovely neighborhood to live in Lake Oswego.
And because Westlake was originally built as a planned community, unlike many of the other neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, this neighborhood has beautiful sidewalks. All of the electrical wiring is underground, all the power lines and all. They have street lights, and it's a great walking neighborhood.
If you want to explore the Westlake area and you're still familiarizing yourself with this neighborhood, a good way to do that would be to take Cruz Way to Westlake Drive and make your way into some of the inner neighborhood streets, some of the streets that I consider the prime streets, like Edenberry Drive, Denton Drive, which you see behind us here, Amberwood Circle. Westlake Drive crosses another street called Melrose. If you turn onto Melrose from Westlake Drive, that'll take you right down to Westlake Park, where we started this video, and you can explore further from there, but that'll give you a really good feeling for the Westlake neighborhood.
And the holidays are magical in this neighborhood. One of our favorite family traditions was taking our twin boys when they were young down Edenberry Drive to see all the holiday lights. It was just beautiful, and we've done it every year, and all the streets around Edenberry decorate and make it just an amazing thing to see around the holidays.
So I want to point out something here that really illustrates the history of Westlake. Just beyond the intersection of Westlake Drive and Melrose, you can see some very contemporary homes behind me that were built much more recently. As Westlake grew over the years, all of the homes in this area were built in tracts, and then later the lots that were the least desirable or the most difficult to develop, many of them were eventually built on as well. That's when these homes that you see behind me were built. They're completely different than the other homes that we spotlighted earlier in the video. They're very contemporary, they're on smaller lots, but some of them have big views. And it's just symbolic of how this area has grown and been built out over the years.
We'd also like to point out that this neighborhood has a diversity of home types in it. It has single-family homes like we've shown you, but it also has condominiums, apartments, and townhomes in it. There are other neighborhoods in Lake Oswego, like the Palisades neighborhood, which we did a whole video on, that has only single-family homes. That neighborhood is very different than the Westlake neighborhood that has more diversity of homes in it.
Okay, we've come full circle here. We're back at Westlake Park. We just want to give you another view of this park because it really is a crown jewel of the Westlake neighborhood. You can see they've got sports fields here. There's tennis courts. There's a great gazebo where you can have private parties. Lots of space for people to walk, run, walk their dogs. It's just a great spot.
One of my favorite things that happens here every summer in August, Wednesday nights, is music in the park. These are concerts that are so much fun. The park fills up with people with picnics. They're dancing, they're great bands, and it's just a great thing every Wednesday night.
Yeah, the summer concert series here that are organized by the Lake Oswego Parks and Rec Department, they are not to be missed.
Now, we've talked about how Westlake is a really great walking neighborhood, but I wanted to share a local tip. This is a place I love to go walking right here. This is right off of Auburn Court, and there's this extensive urban system of urban trails back here that are incredible to walk in, and it's right in the neighborhood.
Most of the homes in the Westlake neighborhood feed to top local schools, including the Oak Creek Elementary School, the Lake Oswego Junior High School, which is currently under construction. A brand new school is coming soon, and Lake Oswego High School. There's also some great shopping options in the Westlake neighborhood, and also on the other side of Cruise Way off Meadows Road. You can find some great restaurants, coffee shops, gym options, and lots of other cool stores. The Westlake neighborhood is a commuter's dream. It's got close freeway access to anywhere you want to go. Places like Intel, Nike, the Silicon Forest, downtown Portland, and even the Portland International Airport with its newly constructed terminal that's gotten worldwide press for its design and architecture are all within a relatively close drive from Westlake. The Westlake neighborhood is also perfectly situated to access all of the things that make the Pacific Northwest lifestyle so desirable. It's easy to get to the Columbia River Gorge from here, and cool towns like Hood River, easy to get to Mount Hood for skiing, hiking, fishing, and relaxation. Very easy to get to the Oregon wine country. We've got world-class vineyards just a stone's throw away from Westlake, and the Oregon coast with its idyllic beach towns like Cannon Beach, Manzanita, and many others. Westlake is tough to beat. Hey, thanks for watching Live, Love Lake Oswego. This is a real estate YouTube channel 100% dedicated to the local real estate market in Lake Oswego and the Lake Oswego lifestyle. If you'd ever like to have an exploratory conversation with me about buying or selling real estate in Lake Oswego, I'd love to talk to you. I'm easy to find. You can contact me at the number you see on screen, call or text anytime. Or if you'd just like to see more videos like this about this great place that we call home, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to check out our other videos about Lake Oswego's best neighborhoods and lake life.